Kremlin said it will wait for concrete actions from Kyiv, following comments from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that appeared to raise the prospect of negotiations to end the war launched by Moscow. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov was responding to an interview that Zelensky gave to the BBC on July 20th, in which he detailed how international pressure could force Russia to the negotiating table. It doesn't mean that all territories are won back by force. I think the power of diplomacy can help. By putting pressure on Russia, I think it is possible to agree to a diplomatic settlement. Asked if he was willing to speak directly to Putin, a prospect long dismissed by the Zelensky administration, the Ukrainian president said he would speak to whoever is in charge in Russia. At the Second Peace Summit, if the plan is completely ready, and if Russia is ready to discuss this plan and agree on ending the war in accordance with the UN Charter, then we will be ready to speak, along with our partners, with representatives of Russia. Whether it's Putin or not Putin, what difference does it make? Let's be honest. Russian state news agency TASS reported Peskov as saying on Monday that Zelensky's position about dialogue was better than words about its intention to fight to the last Ukrainian. It is unclear which comment by Zelensky that Peskov was referring to, although in the first year of the invasion, the Ukrainian president spoke of fighting to the end, a sentiment he has repeated since. Peskov also told TASS that Zelensky's comments to the BBC were, of course, better than statements that any contact with the Russian side were excluded. The Kremlin spokesman added, "We cannot yet judge what exactly is behind these words." This is the second time in a month that Russia has spoken about possible truce. On the 17th of July in New York, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov today said Russia is ready for negotiations on Ukraine, but stressed that before signing any agreement, Russia will look at the wording very carefully and will protect this document from repeated, unscrupulous, non-binding clauses and malicious interpretations. Talking to reporters in New York, Lavrov said, "The so-called Zelensky plan has the distinct form of an ultimatum and is unacceptable, which is well known to everyone for a long time."
We are ready for negotiations, but taking into account the sad experience of talking and consulting with the West and Ukrainians, the agreement that I hope will be reached at some stage on European security, and in this context, the Ukrainian crisis will be resolved. Of course, we will look at the wording very carefully and will protect this document from repeated, unscrupulous, non-binding clauses and malicious interpretations. The Zelensky formula is unacceptable, which is well known to everyone for a long time, still underlies all these efforts.
Meanwhile, during his interview with the BBC, Zelensky said, "We have to work with the United States," when asked what a US presidential election victory in November by Donald Trump would mean for Washington's relations with Kyiv. Trump has claimed, without explaining, that he could end the war within a day, and according to some reports, that could involve pushing Kyiv to cede territory to Russia. He posted on Truth Social that he had a phone conversation with Zelensky and that Ukraine and Russia will be able to come together and negotiate a deal.
We aimed to include various countries, not just NATO members. However, all of them are equally ready to help us defend our shared values. And this will happen. No matter what happens in the world, we need our own tools to support our people and state, our own security agreements that will work under any conditions.
RBC Ukraine reported on Monday that Trump does not have a specific plan for Ukraine, but rather a set of general ideas, and a government source in Kyiv told the outlet, in the end, everything will come down to the personal relationship between Zelensky and Trump.